Dr. Li is our next speaker. Dr. Li is a self-taught computational social scientist. She's very interested in decoding the complexities of human language and group behaviors. Dr. Li.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I am Manyu Li from Psychology at UL Lafayette, and my goal today is to share with you all current progress in psychology in terms of AI research and applications. And that actually involves really broad research directions that psychologists are interested in. While early research focused mostly on survey research, understanding public attitudes towards AI, there are actually more and more tech-focused studies that involve computational methods. My goal today, I want to focus on the use of large language models, and mainly in two different directions. One direction is the application of large language models, or LLM, in the development of AI tools for psychologists. The other direction is the use of LLMs for text analysis and understanding psychological meanings behind text. So let's start with application. One most interesting application for psychologists, of course, is in mental health. And one of the ways to do it, which a lot of researchers are trying to do, is to fine-tune models, such as fine-tuning a model for therapeutic use as a therapy chatbot, or for evaluation purpose, evaluating psychological symptoms. And going beyond these scopes, fine-tuning models can also be applied to understand how to increase cooperation among a group of people through understanding the social network. However, as you would imagine, it is very challenging both technically and ethically. And so one of the current states that I see in mental health or in psychology in general is that instead of trying to replace the whole therapeutic process with AI, it is to identify specific area within this therapeutic process that can be enhanced through the use of AI, such as having an AI mentor for patients who really need social skill training, extra time for social skill training, or a gamified experience as an alternative to traditional evaluation and psychological assessment for people with psychological symptoms. And other than mental health, there are a lot of other applications in psychology, such as industrial organization, like the example that I mentioned earlier of increasing group cooperation within a small group of people, or education. A recent paper that was a prospective paper that was published in Nature Human Behavior just 2 weeks ago highlighted different areas of research that are needed in order to improve learners' achievement in AI. And many of these tasks involve psychological skills from psychological researchers. And so another direction that I want to cover is the use of LLMs to understand text, to do text analysis. Traditionally, psychologists are very, very interested in natural language processing. It could include understanding the text meaning, the meaning of text behind it, and the spread of information. One way that psychologists have invested a lot of energy into doing is to understand the meaning of different words, and not just sentiments, but also psychological processes such as social processes, motive reflected behind these words, and our psychological states in general. But one limitation, of course, is to consider the context of the word in a sentence. And now with LLMs, it actually can help us significantly in accurately understanding the meaning. One of my prior research, I was a data analyst for a national data, a randomized control trial intervention data that actually have a lot of text data, open-ended responses of high school students who talked about their intelligence, their learning, and my goal was to understand how the psychological processes reflected behind those text response relate to the learning outcome, their responses to the intervention, and so on and so forth. With large language model, the test cleaning process is so much more streamlined and easy, and the meaning behind those words, the psychological processes, can also be more accurately extracted. Another example of my research is on social media analysis. I am interested in understanding communities being formed on social media, especially in terms of promoting a social movement. So with large language model, the social meaning behind the words that people use can be easily extracted. And we can then look at how language is in a successful social movement online. The two directions that I covered require continual collaboration between psychologists, social scientists, and computer scientists. And so more and more institutes and companies are invested in the development or the training of computational social scientists. I'm not yet there. I'm an enthusiast of computational social scientists, computational social science, trying to get more of the tech knowledge in addition to my domain knowledge, my theoretical knowledge, and ethical knowledge of human behaviors. One of the things that I'm doing though at UL is to train our students towards a pathway, career pathway on a CSS career. We've been doing that, and we actually have students from social science graduated and move on to a data science program, taking their social science skills and merge it with their tech skills. So I do look forward to seeing more of that activity at UL Lafayette, and I can't wait to share with you next time our progress. Thank you very much.